It's 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're lying in bed, phone in your hand, and for some reason, you open your banking app. Not because you need to, not because you're expecting anything, you just open it, like muscle memory. And you stare at that number, that savings balance that's been sitting there, barely moving for the last 4 months. Maybe it's $340. Maybe it's $1,800. Maybe you've managed to scrape together $4,000, and you feel like you should feel good about that. You don't. Not really. Because it doesn't feel like enough. It never feels like enough. And here's the thing. You're not imagining that feeling. That restlessness, low-grade financial anxiety that follows you around like a shadow, even when your bills are paid and your fridge is full. There's actually a psychological reason for it. It has everything to do with a specific number, a threshold, a line in the sand that your brain is desperately trying to reach without you even knowing it's looking for it. The number isn't $100,000. It isn't $50,000. It isn't even $10,000. The number is $20,000. And once you understand why that number is different, what it actually does to the way your brain processes financial decisions, you're gonna see your entire relationship with money differently. My name's Sean, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth while others stay stuck in the same financial patterns for decades. Same income, same zip code, same everything. Just completely different outcomes. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, you already know we don't do generic advice on this channel. No cut your lattes nonsense. No, just invest in index funds, bro. We talk about the why behind financial behavior. Because until you understand the psychology, the tactics don't stick. If that sounds like your kind of thing, consider subscribing. New videos every week. But more importantly, stick around, because what we're about to get into is going to reframe how you think about every dollar you save from this point forward. Let me paint a picture that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You're making decent money. Not rich, but not struggling either. You've got a steady job, you pay your bills on time, maybe you're even putting a little aside every month. But saving feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Every time you get a little momentum, a bonus, a tax refund, a month where nothing breaks, something comes along and knocks the boulder back down. Car repair, medical bill, a flight home for the holidays, and you're back to square one. The worst part? You don't feel irresponsible. You're not blowing money on bottle service or buying designer bags. You're just living. And somehow, that's enough to keep you perpetually below whatever number feels like safe. So you stay in this loop. Save a little, spend it on something real and necessary, start over. Save a little, spend it, start over. Financial hamster wheel, spinning forever, going nowhere. And everyone around you seems to be managing fine. Your coworker just put a down payment on a house, a college friend is talking about maxing out her Roth IRA, your cousin bought a new truck, and you're sitting there wondering what you're missing. What's the thing that they know that you don't? Here's something that might surprise you. It's not income, it's not discipline, it's not some secret investment strategy. It's a threshold effect. And your brain has been chasing it without a map. Let's bust the first myth right now, because it's the one that keeps the most people stuck the longest. The myth is this, that saving money is a linear process, that every dollar saved feels the same as the last one, that going from $0 to $1,000 feels just as meaningful as going from $19,000 to $20,000. That is completely, mathematically, psychologically false. Here's the thing about how your brain actually processes financial security. It doesn't work on a straight line. It works on thresholds, quantum jumps. There are specific numbers where the entire emotional and cognitive experience of having money changes. And most financial advice completely ignores this because it's not clean enough to put in a graph. We tell people, just save 3 to 6 months of expenses. Okay, great. For someone spending $3,500 a month, that's $10,500 to $21,000. But we never explain why that range exists, what actually happens at those numbers, and why the journey to get there feels so brutally discouraging, right up until the moment it suddenly doesn't. Now, you might be thinking, Sean, I've heard the emergency fund advice 1,000 times. What's different here? What's different is we're gonna look at what that money actually does to your brain. Not just your bank account, your brain, your decision-making, your risk tolerance, your relationship with every financial choice that comes after it. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the scarcity mindset. And it's not just about being poor, it's about feeling resource constrained. And the research on this is genuinely disturbing. Studies out of Harvard and Princeton found that when people are in a state of financial scarcity, not necessarily broke, just feeling financially thin, their cognitive bandwidth actually decreases. Their IQ, measured in controlled studies, dropped an average of 13 points. 13! That's more than losing a full night of sleep.
What that means practically is this. When your savings balance is low, you are literally not thinking as clearly. You're more likely to make short-term decisions over long-term ones. You're more likely to take on high-interest debt. You're more likely to avoid looking at your finances altogether because the anxiety is too high. You're in survival mode, and your brain literally cannot optimize for the future when it's busy managing perceived danger right now.
Here's where it gets really interesting: the threshold effect. Because that cognitive load, that bandwidth tax, it doesn't decrease linearly as your savings grows. It drops off a cliff at a specific point. And for most people, with average American monthly expenses somewhere between $3,000 and $4,500 a month, that cliff sits right around $20,000.
At $20,000 in liquid savings, something shifts. It's not magic, it's math meeting psychology. You have roughly 4 to 6 months of real cushion. You can lose a job and not panic. You can absorb an unexpected $3,000 expense without it derailing everything. Your brain stops running the background threat detection program 24/7. And when that program shuts off, when your nervous system finally exhales, you start making completely different financial decisions.
Let me put some real numbers to this so it's not abstract. The average American spends around $3,700 a month on necessities: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance. Not fun money, just existing money. At $1,000 in savings, you have 8 days of cushion. That's it. 8 days before you're in crisis if something goes wrong. Your brain knows this. You can't trick it. At $5,000, you've got about 6 weeks. Better, but one medical bill, one car breakdown, one vet emergency, and you're back to zero. You're still in the zone where your brain is running threat detection constantly. At $10,000, you've crossed a psychological milestone. 3 months of expenses. You can breathe a little, but you're still one moderate disaster away from empty. Still not the threshold. At $20,000, you've got 5.5 months of runway. Long enough to lose a job and find a new one without going into debt. Long enough that a $2,000 emergency is an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. And the research shows that at this specific range, 4 to 6 months of liquid savings, people's financial behavior changes dramatically. They start contributing more to their 401k. They open IRAs. They're more likely to negotiate salary. They're more likely to leave bad jobs. They're more likely to invest. Not because they suddenly have more money, they don't, but because the scarcity mindset has released its grip and they can finally think clearly enough to play offense instead of defense.
Let me show you 2 guys, same age, same city, same salary, $62,000 a year. We'll call them Ryan and Daniel. Month 1, they both decide to get serious about saving. They both cut some subscriptions, pack lunch a few days a week, redirect about $600 a month into savings. They start at 0. Month 4, Ryan is at $2,400. Daniel is at $2,400. Identical. Month 7, Ryan hits $4,200. He's feeling okay. Then his transmission goes, $2,800. He's back to $1,400. Devastated. Stops tracking his spending because looking at the app makes him feel sick. Puts $200 on his credit card for groceries the next week. Daniel hits $4,200 too. His check engine light comes on. $900 repair. He's at $3,300. Still stings, but he doesn't spiral. He doesn't go off the rails. He just adjusts. He's still in the game. Month 12, Ryan, after the spiral, has rebuilt to $3,100. He's frustrated. Feels like he's been at this for a year and has almost nothing to show for it. Daniel is at $7,200. The difference isn't income. It's not intelligence. It's not discipline. It's that Daniel, by accident more than strategy, never let his balance drop to the zone where his brain switched into scarcity mode. He maintained just enough cushion to keep thinking clearly. Year 2, Ryan discovers a high-interest savings account. He's getting more consistent. Ends year 2 at $9,500. Daniel is at $16,800, close to the threshold. Month 28, Daniel crosses $20,000. And here's where it gets crazy. In the next 6 months, Daniel increases his 401k contribution from 4% to 9% because he finally feels like he can. He negotiates a $7,000 raise because he no longer needs the job so desperately he's afraid to ask. He moves into a slightly cheaper apartment because his thinking is clear enough to do the math on the savings over time. He opens a Roth IRA. Ryan is still grinding toward $15,000, still capable, still on his way, but still operating with a tax on his cognition that Daniel no longer has to pay.
By year 5, Daniel has $58,000 across his savings and investments. Ryan has $24,000. Same income, same city, same starting point. The $20,000 threshold wasn't the destination, it was the launch pad.
Now look, I want to be honest here, because oversimplifying this does you a disservice. $20,000 is not a universal magic number. If you're living in rural Tennessee spending $2,200 a month, your threshold is closer to $13,000. If you're in San Francisco spending $6,000 a month just to exist, you're looking at $30,000 or more before your brain really exhales. The number is always 4 to 6 months of your actual monthly expenses, not some national average.
And getting to $20,000, or whatever your number is, doesn't mean you stop being thoughtful about money. It means you finally have the mental bandwidth to be thoughtful. The threshold isn't a finish line, it's the starting line. It's the point where the game changes from survival to strategy. Also, this isn't a reason to delay investing until you hit the number. If your employer offers a 401k match, take it. Free money is free money. But beyond that, the emergency fund comes first. Not because some personal finance guru said so, because the math on scarcity mindset proves it. Here's the reframe I want you to take with you. Every dollar you put toward that threshold isn't just savings. It's not just a number in an app. It's a direct investment in your own cognitive function. Every $500 you move toward that number is $500 toward the version of you who negotiates better, invests smarter, takes calculated risks, and makes decisions from clarity instead of fear. This isn't about becoming someone who's good with money. It's about removing the neurological obstacle that's been making you bad with money without you even knowing it was there. So here's what I want you to actually do with this. Calculate your real monthly number. Not what you think you spend, but what your bank statements say over the last 3 months. Average it. Multiply by 5. That's your threshold number. Write it down. Name it. That is the most important financial goal you have right now. More important than getting into the stock market. More important than paying off low-interest debt aggressively. More important than anything that requires optimized decision-making to execute. Because you can't execute on any of it clearly until you cross that line. Stop trying to do everything at once. Stop the financial multitasking that's keeping you running in circles. Pick the threshold. Hit it. Then the rest becomes so much clearer than you think it's going to be.
So there you have it. The $20,000 number, or whatever your version of it is, isn't just an emergency fund target. It's a psychological threshold that changes the literal hardware your brain uses to make financial decisions. Below it, you're playing defense with a cognitive handicap you can't feel but can absolutely measure. Above it, the game changes. Ryan and Daniel had the same cards. Daniel just happened to stay above the scarcity line long enough to get to the launch pad first.
You don't have to leave that to chance. If this hit differently than you expected, I'd really appreciate you sharing it with someone who's grinding through that savings plateau right now. Because the people who need this framing the most are usually the ones who've already been trying really hard and can't figure out why it isn't clicking yet. And I'll see you in the next one.